afternoon, welcome to the channel. My name is Beena and this lovely little fella here is of course Walter. Hope you are well. You join me here on Saturday the 22nd of February 2025 and shock horror, the sun's only out. What? I know. It's decided to show its face for the first time in a little while. That must be about 2 days of sunshine we've had in the last 3 months. It's spoiling us. It's 12 degrees centigrade today, Celsius, whatever you want to say. That's basically summer compared to what we've been having. I haven't even had to put my gloves on today. Well, I've put my gloves on clearly. I haven't switched them on, them being heated and all that. Because yeah, it's lovely. It's very nice. I was a bit worried actually that the sun was only briefly out because obviously in true Beena fashion I saw the sun and instantly thought, right, get the old smoke visor on before I go out. I did that and then came out and the sun was nowhere to be seen. One day I'll have to take advantage of those mysterious transparent portals that are in various walls of my house. Just make use of those and see what's actually going on in the world before I make decisions. But it has come out again, so that's all good. So yeah, lovely. It's going to be a nice ride today, not going to be freezing my knackers off. So hopefully it'll be a bit more of a positive ride today, because obviously last week I had a bit of a rant. Justified, as many of you mentioned in the comments, and thank you for all your comments and talking about that particular subject. There is an update on it, which is a positive start to this week's vlog. So for those of you who didn't watch last week, I was moaning about the fact I don't have 6 gears on Walter because I just went for 6 there, or 5A as someone called it in the comments, which really made me laugh, whoever you was, genius. But yeah, last week I was moaning about the service I'd received from Cooper Motorcycles over in Eastern Maudit in Northamptonshire. I'd had a bit of a miserable couple of days in the cold and the wet, and it was compounded by the fact that I'd had less than stellar service, taking Walter here in for some diagnostics. Well, credit to them. The lads over at Cooper actually responded to that video in the comments, gave their side of the story, apologised for the service, and reiterated what they did say to me in person, which was that they don't want any of their customers to feel that they've had bad service, and I genuinely believe that's the case. So yeah, they gave their side of the story, which I didn't agree with everything that they said. I did say that back to them in the comments, and we had a back and forth, and as a result of that they've responded again to say that they've had a meeting off of the back of what I've said, and presumably what some of you have said in the comments as well, and they've put some changes in place to ensure that it doesn't happen again, and to hopefully provide an even better service to their customers. And what I said in the comments was that a lot of it could have been, in the comments and the video itself, I said, you know, a lot of it could have been avoided if there was just better communication, really. And they were honest up front about what was happening, and they just told me what had happened, etc. So what they've decided to institute is when they have someone's bike in, sorry, I'm just concentrating on this busy junction. When they do have someone's bike in for service, they're going to get the service department to send a video via WhatsApp to the customer, explaining to them what they've done, what they've found, and what needs to be done to remedy the situation. And then that will shortly be followed up afterwards by a call from the service department itself, just to explain as well. That's a brilliant idea. Now I have I have a Skoda Yeti car, and that's exactly what the dealership that I go to does whenever I take mine in for a service or any kind of issues. I don't really have any issues with it. They're really good actually. But yeah, service and MOTs. They have a video of the mechanic there going around the car and pointing out things and saying what needs to be done. But it's really good because it feels like you're part of the process. It feels like you're involved with what's going on, and you know that you're going to expect that, so you don't have to chase to find out what's going on. You just expect that video to come through. So that's a brilliant idea. And they also said that they're going to do some of the bits and pieces as well, which hopefully will prove a better customer service. So yeah, I was really impressed with that, I have to say. It's always good to see a company, you know, take it on the chin, take criticism, positive criticism, turn it round, and institute changes that are going to benefit everyone. So as I said to them, you know, I also apologise in case I was a little bit brusque and rude when I went to collect my bike. Like I said, an hour in 2 degrees Celsius and rain will do that to you. But like I said in my comments, you know, if in some perverse kind of way, it's I'm always glad that it happened to me, because it means that it's going to be a better experience for everyone else. So hats off to you, Cooperb. That's the right way of dealing with that. Like I said in my comments. Oh, sorry, pony. Oh, look at you, you little cutie. I didn't say that in my comments. That'd have been weird, wouldn't it? Hey, Cooperb, you little cutie. And like I said in my comments, it's a good dealership. It's got some good selection of bikes there, and they do seem like genuinely nice people. And I think they've probably cemented that by responding in the correct way to this. I mean, I probably still won't go there again, because it has been a couple of times I've had a bad time, and I do have a closer dealer, so I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll swallow my pride. But, you know, credit where credit's due. I think it's worth calling it out and mentioning when people do the right thing. So that's a good positive start to the vlog, isn't it? And, oh crikey, how long have I been indicating? Just that bit, okay. Oh, sun's got in. So yeah, that's that. What else we got to mention? Yeah, a couple of other things. So someone mentioned that I was a bit sweary in my last video. I was annoyed. So that happens, and I'm an uncouth heathen from a council estate, so you know, you can take the boy out of the council estate, you can't take the council estate out of the boy and all that. So occasionally some swears will slip through, but I apologise if it makes watching with your little fellas, your little young people, difficult. I'll try and curtail it as much as possible, but the odd one will slip through. And the other thing, just one of the things I wanted to address from the comments was we had a couple of disgruntled people actually in the comments over the last week. One person who clearly doesn't like the Royal Enfield 350 line and made it very vocal. That's fine, that's absolutely your prerogative to voice that opinion, no problem at all. We'd like a bit of discourse on the channel, as long as it's civil, which it was. So that was that one. And the other one, yeah, a very disgruntled person who had bought a pair of these Merlin, I can't remember the name of them. I've buggered it up twice already when I tried to say what they were in a previous video. Yeah, I bought these heated gloves, and I was saying how great they were and how much I like them, because I do really like them and I think they work very well. But this person bought a pair based on that and said that they were, and I quote, hands over your children's ears, that they're shit. And then said that, insinuated that I'd been paid to say that, and that I should let everyone know that that video was sponsored by Merlin. And I can categorically say 100% have not been paid by Merlin or sponsored. That would be absolutely wonderful if they did, because I love their gear. I've got quite a bit of Merlin gear, but everything that I mention in any of these videos, it's stuff that I bought myself, and I will say positive things about them and I'll say negative things about them, because it's my hard-earned money. I'm never going to be someone who says stuff that's positive just to kind of justify the fact that I've spent money on them. In fact, I think I've been vocal about the fact that the Beena moto here is terrible when it comes to the speed limit indicators. They're so woefully inaccurate. But case in point, thank you, perfect timing. There's a 40-mile-an-hour sign there, and it says 60 along here. But I do actually think that might not be Beeline's fault. I think that might be Google Maps which underpins it, because I seem to get the same kind of things on my iPhone when I use Google Maps. That's an aside anyway. But yes, so yeah, no, I'm not sponsored. I don't think Merlin or any kind of manufacturer is particularly interested in a little channel of only 700 subscribers. I don't think I've got that much clout, although apparently we've got a little bit of clout, everyone, because we managed to get Cooperb to make some changes. So maybe I am. I'm in the big leagues now. But no, bought with my own hard-earned cash, and that person who bought them, if you bought them because of what I said and you're not happy with them, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you've had that experience. I'm sorry that you don't think they're any good. Personally, I've worn them in 2 degrees and rain, and I had them on the medium setting, and although my hands, I think I did say in the video actually that my hands were cold at the end of it, they weren't so cold that I couldn't feel my fingers and my hands were numb, and they were just a little bit cold. But that was a lot of 60-70 mile an hour riding for an hour. So I think any glove would, any battery powered heated glove would struggle with that. They do tend to say use them with heated grips as well, don't they, to make the most of them. But for all other times I've ridden in sort of 4 degrees and about 4, 5, 6, even 3 degrees, they've been absolutely toasty. I love them. I don't even have them on today. It is 12 degrees, 11, 12 degrees at the minute, so you'd hope I wouldn't. But yeah, so either yours were faulty or you have very, very high expectations of the gloves. Either way, I'm sorry if you feel you've wasted your money and I've had anything to do with that. Maybe I should have a disclaimer in my videos whenever I mention any kind of products that I own. Your mileage may vary. So yes, that's that out of the way. God, it's like I've planned this one, isn't it? It makes a change from me just turning the bike on, starting riding and thinking, oh God, what am I going to talk about? Had things to actually talk about. In fact, I have some more stuff to talk about. Just inane ramblings, really. So as you know, I am going to be having an operation next month on my elbow, tennis elbow surgery, and I'm going to be out of action for a little while, and I've got to be in a sling for 3 weeks where I'm not allowed to do anything with that hand, that arm. Can't lift anything, can't do anything. I'm going to be off work. And Mrs. Beena and I were just having a conversation this morning before I came out. She was saying, what are you going to do for those 3 weeks? Because you're going to be bored. And it was a very good question, because all of the things that I like doing, all of my hobbies, involve 2 hands, 2 arms. So playing a guitar, playing a keyboard, riding a motorcycle, and photography. All of those things it's kind of key that I have both hands. Oh, playing computer games as well. So they're all the things that I love to do. That's my pastimes. Where am I going here? It's a dead end. Should we go down here? I'm pretty sure this goes out onto the dual carriageway, doesn't it? Oh well, we'll go down here. Why not? So yeah, I was thinking, what am I going to do for those 3 weeks? A lot of YouTube watching, obviously. I could do a lot of walking. I've got one camera which I could potentially just use one-handed. That's never ideal. So my wife said, why don't you ask your followers and ask them to put in the comments, what activities could I do one-handed for the next 3 weeks? And obviously I said they're going to be rude. So let's take the obvious rude answer out of the equation and give you some ideas. What can I actually do to keep myself occupied for 3 weeks whilst I only have one hand? I'm sure some of you can come up with something. This is a terrible road, isn't it? Where the road markings? Looks like a bloody runway. Yeah, what would you recommend I do? I mean, I'm not going to be able to do a lot of those things that I like anyway for a good 6 weeks, because even when I get out of the sling, there's going to be a lot of physio and exercises, and I'm going to have a lot of strength and it's going to be painful, so it could be longer than 3 weeks. I need that activity. I'll be doing my damnedest to get back on the bike, that's for sure. Back again. Nobody needed to see me sat at a roundabout traffic lights for 5 minutes, did they? So we cut that bit out. So yeah, suggestions in the comments, please, folks. See what I can do. I've actually had a really bad week with my elbow this week. It's been probably the worst it's ever been. I've been a bit down. Well, that sounded a lot faster than it is. There's an MGTF. MGF, in case anyone wondered. Don't see many of those about anymore. They're probably all rusted to death. Yeah, I've been, like I say, my elbow has been so bad over the last week. Probably compounded by the fact that Mrs. Beena has been away training, so I've been left alone with Bob the dog, who is disabled and needs to be picked up a lot at the moment. I need to go out to do his business in the garden because we've got some quite steep steps leading up to the garden. Sounds like a kind of fancy garden, doesn't it? It's not, it's really small. But yeah, he needs lifting up and down those, and that doesn't help my elbow. And then obviously lifting up and down off the sofa a few times a day. So yeah, it's been excruciating this week, and I've been really down about it. You know what it's like when you can't sleep? Well, you might not know, but if you've got chronic pain that's so bad it prevents you sleeping, then that just really affects your mood. And usually to combat that, I'd go out on Walter here, because that's always, it's like Prozac, isn't it? I imagine, never had Prozac, but I imagine it's like Prozac for you. Just really lifts your mood. But it's been a rubbish week weather-wise. The English winter continues on apace with its dreary, dull, wet, windy and cold weather. 40-mile-an-hour winds again and rain, so I couldn't get out. So it's lovely to get out again today. Instantly made me happier. But yeah, it has been a terrible week. It's a bit of a weird. I'm a bit of a weird one when it comes to arms. That's a weird statement, isn't it? You don't hear that very often from people. I'm a bit of a weird one when it comes to arms. I phrased that really badly. What I meant was maybe handedness, because I'm naturally left-handed. But I grew up in the 70s where weirdly left-handedness wasn't as accepted, which is a strange thing, isn't it? I mean, it's not just the 70s, is it? I mean, going back hundreds of years, left-handedness seemed to be wicked. I mean, I think isn't the Italian word or the Latin word for left is sinistra, is it? I believe. And obviously sinister comes from that, because it was considered a bit wicked and evil if you're left-handed. Hand of the devil. So as a result, you're kind of encouraged to use your right hand if you're a lefty back in those days. So my parents, which is a bit dumb really on their part, but my mum always said, oh yeah, I always found it strange you always wanted to do things with your other hand when we were trying to teach you to play badminton or cricket or something, and you'd want to use your other hand, but we'd make you use your right one again. You'd think, oh, why did you do that? I was clearly left-handed. So yeah, and then at school, obviously the autism kicked in a little bit here, because I wanted to be like everyone else and not stand out and be a good boy. And like, if you're autistic, it's a weird thing where you just basically do as you're told, right? Because you're given instructions, so you follow them. So that's what I was like as a kid. So I was quite a good kid, really, for the most part. So when they said put the pen in your right hand and do this, as uncomfortable as that was, that's what I did. And as a consequence, my handwriting was bloody awful. In fact, one of my teachers, I mean, this also says a lot about the 70s. One of my, and council estates, my teacher at school said to my mum, oh, his handwriting, no, he said to me actually, oh, your handwriting looks like a spider has crawled across the page and died in the middle. I mean, what a thing to say. What a thing to say to a kid. But yeah, it did, to be fair. But as a result of that, oh, missed a gear there. As a result of being told to do one thing, but not really being able to do everything that they wanted me to with my right hand, I've become a bit of a weird hybrid. I call it cross-dominant, I think is the technical term for it, which is kind of like being ambidextrous. So I think if you're ambidextrous, you can do everything equally with both hands. Whereas if you're cross-dominant, you're dominant in some things with one hand and other things with the other, and that's what I am. So for example, I write right-handed. I can write a little bit left. I can write legibly left-handed. This takes me a bit longer, but I prefer to write my right. I would play golf right-handed, tennis. Although again, I can easily switch hands when I'm playing tennis or squash or badminton, which I have in the past. I can easily switch the other hand, play reasonably well. Snooker, I will play left-handed. Shooting a gun, I shoot left-handed. Carrying things, left-handed. So yeah, it's really strange. There's a lot of things that I do differently depending on the situation. Which is probably why I've had bad tennis elbow, both elbows, because I've put stress on them at various times doing different activities. But my left kind of really is still my dominant, so I think that's why that's the real bad one. But the reason I mention that is because it's not going to be such a chore for me when I have this operation to lose the use of my left hand, because there's so much stuff that I do with my right hand as well, and I could easily pick up doing my right hand that my left did. So that's a positive take on my situation over the next few months. But yeah, we did strange things back in the 70s, didn't we, with forcing kids to do stuff like that. It was different times. Oh, what do we got here? Nice Bonnie. It's unsurprising because we've got the Triumph dealership just up the road here in lovely Woburn. I think I've mentioned before, if you're ever in the area, definitely come see Woburn. I'm not sponsored by them. Not sponsored by anyone. Although on a completely unrelated topic, if you're looking to make a web page, then Squarespace has lots of no, I don't have a website. Oh, it's such a cute little doggy. Make sure we keep our speed down here. Don't want to be hitting any deer. Let's see what the death tally is this week. Oh, 2 still. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, I'll say that's pretty good. That's 1 a month so far this year, but it's nice to see it hasn't increased. I don't know why you'd want to speed down here anyway. It's such a lovely place. Mind you, I guess that maybe not all of it is people speeding. They do dart out in front of you. I've had a muntjac run out in front of me here. Hey, there's a kite up there. First one of the video. Actually, I'll say that. I think I saw a couple more. I just didn't mention them. Yeah, they do tend to dart out, and I guess people are also distracted by the lovely scenery around here. I mean, it's particularly beautiful in spring. You come down here, if you look at, I think one of my first videos actually, possibly even my first video, I come down here and all the rhododendrons are out. It's beautiful. That was in the times when we had sun. Dim and distant memory. I'll say that, the sun's poking through a little bit there, look. Oh, there we go, look at all of the majestic gulls. Yeah, a lot of gulls. Just an enormous herd of deer. Are they a herd of deer? Yeah, I think so, aren't they? A gaggle, a flock, a boy band. Wow, there's a massive herd of them over there. It's got to be a good couple of hundred. You can't see them because you're not allowed. There's another kite and there's more deer. Right, I'm just pointing at things now and saying it, aren't I? Like a proper old person. I did that the other day. Mrs. Beena and I were out shopping somewhere and I had to say, oh, look at that, such and such, and I just then started doing that for just about everything that I saw. I thought it's such an old person thing to do. So I think probably I should end the video there because I'm just rambling incoherently and pointing out random stuff that you can see with your own eyes. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little ramble again. We've only got a few more left, folks. I've only got 4 weeks and 2 days before I go for my operation, and I'm out of action for a couple of months. So I will hopefully get another 4 videos in. Wow, I've never had to stop here before. Why are we stopping here? Weird. Yeah, hopefully we'll get another 4 videos in. With the weather gradually improving, hopefully they'll be a bit sunnier and I won't mind about the weather quite so much. So until next time, if you're out and about on your bikes, stay safe, keep the shiny side up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!